Hi guys, welcome back. We are going to continue about Ruth, and I have another poster and Bible truth to share with you. I know you've seen another video and you have hopefully read it with your parents, so we're just going to go ahead and read the second part of Ruth already. Let me get this on the screen for you. When Naomi and Ruth arrived in Bethlehem, Naomi was recognized by some of the townspeople. They greeted her and they asked her about her husbands and sons. Naomi answered sadly that her husbands and both her sons had died in Moab. But she had brought one of her daughter-in-laws with her from the country. Because Naomi and Ruth were widows, which means ladies whose husband had already died, they had no one to care for them. God's law allowed the widows to get enough to eat by gleaning, and gleaning was to go back over a field after it was harvested and to pick up anything that was left over from the crop, like to go back and pick up the corn or whatever was left in the crop. Gleaning was a difficult way to get food to eat, but Ruth chose to go out in the fields to try to gather enough grain to feed both herself and Naomi. God was watching over Ruth when she went to glean in the field that belonged to a man named Boaz. He was a relative of Naomi's late husband, Elimelech. When Boaz first saw Ruth picking up grain in the field, he didn't know who she was. One of the harvest workers told Boaz that Ruth was the widow of one of Naomi's sons, and that she faithfully was taking care of Naomi. Boaz was impressed that Ruth was such a loyal and loving servant to Naomi, and Boaz felt responsible for helping because he was a relative. He told Ruth not to go to any other farmer's fields, but to stay in his field and eat with his workers. Ruth was allowed to eat all that she wanted. She could even take some grain home to Naomi. Boaz was also instructed his workers to leave extra grain in the fields for Ruth to collect. The workers were to treat Ruth kindly. Ruth told Naomi how kind Boaz had been. Naomi recognized that Boaz was a relative of Elimelech, and Boaz could become a kinsman redeemer. A kinsman redeemer was a man who was willing to take on the responsibility of marrying a widowed of one of his family members. So anyhow, Naomi told Ruth to go and see Boaz that night and ask for his protection. Ruth followed Naomi's instructions. Boaz was pleased with Ruth's respectful behavior, and he told Ruth that he would marry her. Boaz worked out all kinds of details to marry Ruth, and he loved Ruth, and he kept her and Naomi safe for the rest of their lives. Ruth and Boaz had a little boy, and they grew up to become the grandfather of King David. Many years later, Jesus was born into that same family line. So that's the rest of the story of Ruth. One of the greatest things about Ruth that I find is that she chose to love like Jesus loved. She didn't just do what was right or what was expected. She loved Naomi with all of her heart, and she wanted to be with her, just like God loves us with all of his heart and wants us to be with him. She did that with him, and this is my little monkey. And so from this story today, I hope you get that you should always love like Jesus loved us, even though it's not always the most correctly viewed way to do it. I think that might be a way to put it. So anyhow, I love you guys. I miss you guys. We'll see you later.